And good morning. What's up, everybody? I am, well, the few of you are here already. I can see that you can see where I'm going with this morning. Oh my goodness, the weekend was just, wow, fantastic for people like me, because holy crap, was I bookmarking shit on Twitter all weekend. I'll tell you all about it in a minute, but hey, let's play the intro first. I'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog Studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P. Dog Night. And stop the music. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, me, Marty, aka P. Dog Night. Got my reparations coffee going. I got this giant screen so I can read the articles that I'm supposed to be reading, and I am ready to go. Yes. Okay, so while people are slowly strolling in, I do have some news that perhaps you may not have known, and I feel obligated to share this news with you. Not getting a whole lot of play in the mainstream media, but I think it's one of the more important stories that most people have just missed, and it's in the world of sports. And I can't believe that this is not all over the front pages of all the major papers. I can't even explain it. I just can't explain it. So, if you are not aware, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wait, what the hell happened there? Oh, wrong. Let me do this right, because I want to make sure you see the whole thing. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the North Carolina Courage wins the NWSL title with a win over the Chicago Red Stars. Now, just in case you're wondering, who the hell are the North Carolina Courage and the Chicago Red Stars? Ladies and gentlemen, the championship game of the NWSL, which is the National Women's Soccer League, took place this weekend in Cary, North Carolina. Yes. What's this here now? Let's see. Now, it's weird because it starts out with a a very unusual way to start an article. Debenha. Now, I don't know what a Debenha is, but Debenha. Oh, I got to say it really loud, don't I? Debenha scored in the 4th minute, and the North Carolina Courage went on to beat the Chicago Red Stars 4-0 on Sunday for their second straight National Women's Soccer League title. Jessica McDonald, Kristen Dunn, and Sam Mewis added goals for the Courage, which won the NWSL Shield for the third straight year with the league best 15-5-4 regular season record. The Courage beat Rain Football Club, 4-1 in extra time in the semifinals. The Red Stars had a 6-game winning streak heading into the final, including a 1-0 victory over Portland Thorns in the semifinal. Debenha, I'm assuming that's a name. That's someone's name. Oh, I know. It's a soccer player who goes by one name. That's what it is. Debenha's rebound shot got past Red Stars goalkeeper Alyssa Nair to open scoring early before McDonald's header off the feed from Lynn Williams in the 26th minute after Dunn scored the first halftime stoppage. First half stoppage time. I'm not a soccer fan. I don't know what the hell. It's before halftime. Okay, just say before halftime. Mewis added a goal off the long ball from Abby Dahlkemper in the 61st, which I'm assuming is the 61st minute. So, now the reason I brought this up, first of all, okay, so Debenha was named the game's MVP, the first Brazilian to win it. Oh, let's hear it for the Brazilians. Of course, this league I think has only been around for 4 years. I think it was an offshoot from another league that folded, and then they started a new league, and it got a little more. It got a little more popular with the what's the word with the World Cup, Women's World Cup going by just recently. So a lot of these players played in the Women's World Cup. But I wanted to highlight something about this game that is fascinating. Well, there's a couple things, actually. There's a couple things. One of them is, let's see, I'll scroll down here. A sellout crowd of 10,227 attended the championship game at Solon Stadium. Now, Solon Stadium is a stadium. I just put this out here. Now, here's a little bit about Solon Stadium, okay? Solon Stadium's at Wake Med Soccer Park, North Carolina, okay? They got a whole... now, let's see. The soccer stadium is... capacity 10,000, so they had a full house at Solon Stadium here. Here's some pictures of the stadium here. And this is a little place called Stadium Journey. It just talks about stadiums around the country and what they're like, apparently. So here's a little bit about Solon Stadium. Solon Stadium at Wake Med Soccer Park was originally called State Capital Soccer Park when it opened in 2002. So it's been around for 17 years. The soccer park has 3 FIFA regulation fields, 1 game field, 2 practice fields, and 4 non-FIFA regulation fields in the soccer park complex. The main game field is what was referred to by using of the soccer park's name, State Capital, SAS, Wake Med Soccer Park, before the main game field received a name. State Capital Soccer Park. First professional team was the Carolina Courage of the defunct National Women's Soccer League, WUSA. So that league folded. State Capital Soccer Park was renamed SCA Soccer Park in 2002, renamed Wake Med Soccer Park in 2008, and in 2017, the main field at Wake Med Soccer Park became Solon Stadium after Solon Packing Company gained the rights to the naming of the main game field stadium. So, fascinating stuff. Now, here's okay, that's not really why. I just want to tell you a little about the stadium. So I'm thinking about this, and there's this big push now on Twitter. Let me change my screen here real quick. So, as I've been, I spend a lot of time on Twitter because I get my story ideas from Twitter because that's where you get the hottest breaking news on Twitter, right? And there's been this mega push by Budweiser. Budweiser has been promoting this tweet over and over and over. And they have Budweiser for this time of year. Budweiser has been promoting this hashtag, okay? This year, the fans of NWSL have shown the world they hashtag won't stop watching. But today, we're calling for more brands to join those fans in the stands. Now, what they're doing is Budweiser apparently is a sponsor of the National Women's Soccer League. Now, we had a big thing just recently, right, about how the World Cup players for the United States weren't being paid as much as the men when we actually found out they've made more than the men especially considering their if you go by the average attendance and what they do and whatnot, they've made more than the men. They've been paid more than the men. It's been a fact over the last few years, even though they have a lawsuit saying that they want to be paid more. Okay, the NWSL. Okay, they say that. Well, here let's just watch this little video they put together here. Okay. Okay, there you go. Uh-huh. Whoa. What? first-time sellouts. Sky Blue Football Club versus the Washington Spirit. They sold out. They sold out a stadium. I wonder where they play, because the championship was held in a stadium that holds 10,000 people, right? The championship of this entire league, and I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that's the audience for the women's soccer league right now, and it's probably a very good league. I'm sure they play fine soccer. Whatever. Ratings at all-time high. Ratings. What does that mean? Ratings, TV ratings? Because it was on ESPN this weekend. The championship was on ESPN. I didn't watch. I was going to watch some of it, but on the same day that there were the National Women's Soccer League, and I'm sure there's people who are dedicated to soccer who probably watched it, but I'm not. There were the NFL had. I had my excuse me. I'm watching NFL Red Zone. Okay. No audio. What do you mean no audio? Oh, okay. Oh, I see on the video. Okay. Okay. I see it. Okay, we'll fix that later. NFL Red Zone, right? Because there was all kinds of NFL games. There was also Major League Baseball yesterday. There was also NBA yesterday. There was also NHL yesterday. And what was the other thing? There was another thing on. That was, the National Women's Soccer League. So the consumers of sports had mega choices. Here, we're going to go back and watch the beginning of this. The consumers had tons of choices, okay? So I'm kind of guessing that maybe the National Women's Soccer League final didn't necessarily get the ratings they probably wanted. Although perhaps if you're a fan of the National Women's Soccer League, you probably watched the game on TV. But their championship was held in a stadium of 10,000 people. Now, granted, it may be because it's still only about, I think the National Women's, well, let's look it up. How long has this league been around? How long has the National Women's Soccer League? Let's go. National Women's Soccer League. There it is. Finally came up. National Women's Soccer League. Here's the website. Is it their 10th season? Maybe. Okay. There's that. I want news, standings, schedule. I want about. Is there an about? They don't have an about. Maybe if you scroll down enough. About. Here we go. About. Here we go. The National Women's Soccer League is a 9-team Division I women's professional soccer league featuring national team players from around the world. The clubs are the Chicago Red Stars, Houston Dash, North Carolina Courage, Orlando Pride, Portland Thorns, Reign, Sky Blue, Utah Royals, and Washington Spirit. Based in Chicago, the National Women's Soccer League is supported by the Canadian Soccer Association and the United States Soccer Federation. All right, we're not getting any information on when. Go to Wiki. Yeah, Wiki might. Yeah, you're right. Wiki might be the way to go here because they're just not telling me anything. Let's go to the Wiki. Here we go, Wikipedia. Let's see. Okay. When did it start? Established in 2012, so it's been around for 7. This is the 7th year. Okay. The inaugural 2013 season, 4 clubs have been, since the league's inaugural 2013 season, 4 clubs have been crowned NWSL championship. Okay. So it's been around 7 years. Okay. And now I had never heard of it until this year when the women of the World Cup team began promoting it. Okay. And so it took them 7 years and they're in a 10,000 seat stadium. Now, and I'm not disparaging women's soccer at all. I'm just saying that it is probably, oh, wow, my head's cut off here. That's weird. There, is that ready? There we go. All right, let's fix my camera. I'm guessing that it's pretty much a niche product for sports entertainment. And 6 years, founded in November 6 years ago, 2019, 17. Okay, it's the first season was 6 years ago. And so for if your championship game fits in a 10,000 seat stadium, I'm imagining that the ticket sales during the regular season, probably in stadiums that hold maybe between 6 and 10,000 people, are not going to garner a lot of ticket sales. Now, let me put this in perspective. The University of St. Thomas, which is a school that my son graduated from, and St. John's University, two Division III football, two Division III schools, no non-scholarship schools, we're not talking like college championship series. The University of St. Thomas and the University of St. John's just played a football game here in the Twin Cities. Now, granted, this is one of the biggest rivalries in Division III college football. And they played their state game in the Minnesota men's soccer team stadium, which holds just over 19,000 people. A Division III football game that wasn't a championship, just a big rivalry. And they had 19,000 people in attendance for a Division III football game. Not a championship even. So, and granted, this is a non-revenue sport. Well, they're all Division III are pretty much non-revenue sports. Nothing. Again, I'm not knocking the National Women's Soccer League. It's just not going to be a popular sport in the United States. It could be. I'm sure they're quite skilled. They're great players, whatever. But it just is what it is. And so, if the purpose of sports, at least professional sports, professional sports is not just for the pride and the glory of playing the sport. It's an entertainment business designed to put butts in seats. So if you have to put butts in seats, you got to put butts in seats. And Budweiser. Anyway, back to this Budweiser thing. This Budweiser thing's fascinating because and I'll play this again. They've been pushing this hashtag. I swear to God, every time I go on Twitter, this is, they put those, how you get the promoted tweets, and Budweiser's just promoting the shit out of this because right now they are the one major sponsor for the NWSL. Now, I get it. They're trying to help out the NWSL. Good for them. If you can get, the more promotion you get and the more sponsors you get, the more likely you'll be able to promote the games, promote the league. And again, they did have their championship game on ESPN yesterday, but it was competing for your sports entertainment dollar, or eyes, I should say, with the NFL, the NHL, the NBA, Major League Baseball. Oh, and there was also, in fact, yesterday, because I was going to watch that. I'm really into college women's volleyball. My daughter played volleyball in high school, and I just have this thing for volleyball. And also, one of my son's teammates, we're good friends with his parents, and their daughter plays Division I volleyball at the University of Michigan. So I was gonna watch it. I think it was Michigan and Penn State. Anyway, there's a big matchup of college volleyball on, and I'm gonna guess as far as the number of eyes watching it on TV. The purpose of having a sponsor is the sponsors want eyes on the game so that their product can be seen and get sold. Right? And so Budweiser's trying to get anyway, they have this. So let's go to this. I want to go to this won't stop watching hashtag. I might even not even get to the stuff from the weekend because this is fascinating to me. So let's go to this won't stop watching hashtag because I think it's incredible. South Lake Carroll High School football team in Texas plays in an 18,000 seat stadium. Hey, isn't there's a stadium, is it, Midland, Texas? Don't they have like a 48,000 seat stadium they just built? Or is it, I can't remember the name of this. There's a couple huge high school football stadiums in Texas. I know that for a fact. One of my buddies lives down in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and they just built this gigantic stadium. By the way, thank you Tyler F for retweeting the show out today. Before I go on, I'm gonna go on, but let's say good morning, everybody. Hey, Zombie Teddy was here first. Good morning, sir. Thank you for coming to the show. Also, good morning to Pin Kahlo, Diesel Dave, Tyler F, Chicago Mike, Cynical Lindsay, Shia Graff, Mike Savage, Prophet Drunk. Nice to see you back. And Jaeger Pony, how you doing? And I think that's everyone who's in the chat. And then good morning to all the lurkers. There's a few of you out there. I get it. Not everyone can be in the chat if you're driving or working or whatever you're doing. I am so happy that you're here. So I'm obsessed. I am obsessed with this topic. I don't know why. Because they made such a big deal about how we're not supporting women's soccer, yada, yada, yada. You know what? Me personally, there's certain women's sports that I enjoy. I will watch women's tennis. I enjoy watching Serena Williams and some of the other great players coming up, and players of the past. Even if it's not as high levels as tennis as the men's, it's still good to watch two great women's tennis players playing each other. I was a big fan of the Navratilova Everett matches from the past, and it's cool. But soccer's a game that I have a hard time watching when men play it. So it's hard for me to tell the nuance. But anyway, let's get into this. I want to go into this won't stop watching hashtag on Twitter, because Budweiser seems to think that this is why is it not going? What's going on here? That's why, because it's the top one. So, Budweiser really wants other sponsors to join in on sponsoring this, and fine, that's great that the NWSL has gotten them to join in on this. Here it is. This year, the fans of the NWSL have shown the world they won't stop watching, but today we're calling for more brands to join those fans in the stands. Well, if your championship game can't outdraw a Division III college football game, that makes it harder to get people to sponsor. Okay, but I think it's important that you sponsor these teams if you can and help promote them. It's a 9-team league. It's kind of like WNBA. There's not a ton of teams in the WNBA, and they still haven't been profitable. And I think it's, they're heavily subsidized. That's the other thing. They're heavily subsidized by the NBA. And I know that Canadian soccer and USA soccer subsidize the professional league. But it's just, it's a challenge. It's just a challenge. It's a niche sport, niche market. But anyway, so let's see. This person, Rachel, I've drank more Budweiser in the last 4 months than I have in my entire life. And it's a direct result of their support of the NWSL. They've done a hell of a job. Well, you drank more Budweiser in the last 4 months than you have in your entire life. Rachel, how old are you? Are you okay? So you're a social worker by day, follower of live Twitter. Okay, she's an advocate for the NWSL. She's got it in her Twitter bio, and that for me, in order for me to drink more Budweiser in the last 4 months than I have in my entire life, well, I was never a fan of Budweiser. So if I drank one case of Budweiser, that might be more than in my entire life. You know what I'm saying there? I don't mean much. If your best drink is a martini, then it would be hard to beat your Budweiser limit. Let's see. This Dave Stewart. Fully admit this is my first season following them and the WSL after being very convicted. I think he meant convinced to support by the Won't Stop Watching campaign surrounding the World Cup. If you're not a fan yet or just started following this year, I strongly suggest you do the following. Oh, this is a thread. 1, subscribe to the Athletic SSR. What is that? At The Athletic Soccer, world-class ad-free soccer coverage. Okay. And follow, it's Megan Linen, who is a U.S. Women National Team NWSL staff writer. Okay. There and on Twitter. Do the same for Thrace, who is It's a Beautiful Game, and I'm someone podcaster. And then some other people. Listen to Equalizer Soccer, the #1 source for women's soccer in North America. Hey, we'll have to check that one out. Jump in on a club and watch others and buy merch and tell your friends. Drink Budweiser too. Okay, Dave Stewart, who is living in Washington. What? Okay, he's just a dude. Okay, all right, Dave Stewart. Sponsor women's soccer, make money. Our fans are loyal. Okay, it might help your local Budweiser distributor, I suppose. We have sold AJ Hudson's completely out of Budweiser. Okay. Chicago Local 134. Support women's soccer in the NWSL by sharing and tagging your favorite brands now. So apparently, okay, so this is a push to get sponsorship for the NWSL. So good for them. Hey, do your best. Hopefully you'll start getting. It's tough because are the sponsors who promote this thing get the butts and seats, or does the interest in the sport in general get the butts and seats? Because I know people who will go to a Division III football game and fill the stands. Ironic that Budweiser ran its. Oh, this is interesting. Ironic that Budweiser ran its Won't Stop Watching campaign on the same day we learned a lot of NWSL fans and staff don't watch games. Now, I wonder what that means. Who knows? Anyway, this is a rambling mess. I realize that. But it's just, there she is, everybody's favorite player. So the future of, I see. So cool, Budweiser won't stop watching NWSL, the future official sponsor.com. And then they put Megan Rapinoe. She's a great player in women's soccer. I just don't, I just can't. Tell you what, here's what we're gonna do. Let's get back into some other topics, okay? I know you're tired of this one already. So, by the way, just a reminder, the Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Hey, I have a whole spiel here. Hang on, I'm going to read my spiel because I'm writing my commercial, so I don't have to do this. I'll just click and the commercial will come on. But here's the commercial I wrote. You can tell me what you think of it because I'm trying to figure it out myself. Let's see. Let's open the new one. Here's the commercial, and here he goes. Hey, this is P-Dog Night. I'm taking a quick time out to remind you that the Morning Night Live and the P-Dog Night channel are sponsored by you, the viewers. It doesn't take much to help the channel grow and thrive. In fact, here are a few simple ways that you can help while you're watching right now. Number 1, share this stream out to your favorite on your favorite social media. Right below this video is a little arrow that says share beneath it. Click the arrow and then click where you want to send it. Then click it one more time to actually send it. It's really easy and it takes just 3 clicks to make a huge impact for the channel. Number 2, if you are enjoying the show or the video, depending on what you're watching, tap that like button. You know that little thumbs up thing right down there? Right, somewhere down here. I don't know if that really does anything, but some people say it lets YouTube know that you give a damn, and perhaps they should start recommending my channel to other people too, because they certainly aren't doing it right now. Just a thought. which is why I often refer you back to number 1, share. And number 3, if you like to help the channel financially and make a huge impact on the show with your best and finest super chats, you can hit the tip jar at streamlabs.com/pdognight, where you can make donations to the channel and include a message, which of course I will read live on the show. Links in the description down below. So there, share, like, donate, whatever works for you. But please, can you help a brother out? And by the way, if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that little bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos when we go live. So that's it for now. I'm P-Dog Knight. Let's get back to the show. Hello, Gulf City Cult of Krill. How you doing? Lick that smash button, or smash the lick button. Lick the whatever. Yeah, that's weird, but yes, do what that says. Lick it. I'm not going to make any more comments about licking it. Little musical break. Okay, so the real reason I brought you here today is because we had some interesting things going on over the weekend. I was going crazy adding bookmarks to my Twitter profile. Now, the biggest news of the weekend, obviously, was the fact that we lost a great leader in the world over the weekend. ISIS leader killed in Trump-authorized military raid. Oh, my goodness. What's his name? Is something al-Baghdadi. Here's the Daily Wire article. We'll go full screen on this one. Just a second here. ISIS leader killed in Trump-authorized military raid. Oh, what happened there? What the fuck? Get off my screen, you stupid ad. President Donald Trump authorized a special forces operation targeting Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, who's your daddy, the leader of the Islamic terrorist group ISIS. And the military says that the ISIS leader was successful killed. Oh my gosh, you guys need editors too, during the mission. Successfully. Where's the pawn music? You know what? I'm not wired in today, so I'm not gonna do any music in the background. Speaking of musical breaks, I got you. Amid reports Saturday of U.S. military helicopters over Syria's northwestern Idlib province, a senior Pentagon official familiar with the operation and army official briefed on the matter told Newsweek that Baghdadi, who's your daddy, was the target of the top secret operation in the last bastion of the country's Islamist-dominated. What the hell is that? What the... lips work. Dominated opposition, a faction that has clashed with ISIS in recent years. Newsweek reported a U.S. Army official briefed on the results of the operation told Newsweek that Baghdadi, who's your daddy, was killed in the raid. Actually, he killed himself. He blew up his own suicide vest, but that's okay. Anyway, this was early before they really knew what was going on, so I'm going to just pop back out of this article for a second. Now, I'm sure all of you heard everything about it, and the dude, I don't know, he ran and he pulled the detonator on a suicide vest and almost killed 3 of his own kids, killed some other people around him, whatever he was running. They didn't want to get taken down by the people chasing him. But the fascinating part of this story is not so much that he was killed, but more the reactions to it, because people were kind of. It was weird how people reacted. Now, you know, this guy's one of the most wanted people in the entire world, right? Terrorist, people who, had people, whatever. You know what I'm saying? He's not a good dude. And then you get this insane headline by the Washington Post. Now, well, let me show the insane headline by the Washington Post. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, austere religious scholar at the helm of Islamic State, dies at 48. Austere religious scholar. That's a very, very interesting way to put it, Washington Post. Now, granted, as soon as this headline came out, because I'm on real time when this post came out, and it didn't take very long for people to notice this from the Washington Post, and it didn't take very long for them to change this headline. They changed it pretty damn quick because they were getting they were getting destroyed. Of course, this is Eric Trump's tweet. The Washington Post is a disgrace. Refers to al-Baghdadi as a austere religious scholar who maintained a canny pragmatism. Acquaintances would remember him as a shy, nearsighted youth who liked soccer but preferred to spend his free time at the local mosque. You know, if he had changed his gender at a young age and continued to play soccer, he might have been able to play in the NWSL. So needless to say, the Washington Post kind of been getting dragged over the coals over this. I mean, this description of al-Baghdadi, Donald Trump Jr., enemy of the people, with headlines like this, and the fact that the Washington Post and others in the MSM have harsher criticism for the president of the United States than they do for the leader of ISIS, a known serial rapist and murderer, you really have to start to wonder, right? There's no doubt the Washington Post crossed the point of no return by printing a favorable obit of al-Baghdadi. Who's your daddy? The world's most infamous Islamic terrorist. Even Democrats who hate Trump must know it's just not defensible, or it's not just indefensible, but un-American. I mean, it's just funny. People who, now interesting, yeah, Gad Sad did a Sad Truth clip about it where he satirized the Washington Post reporting of the death of the ISIS leader, and that video was demonetized before a single view of the clip. So apparently the YouTube doesn't like you making fun of al-Baghdadi either. Who's your daddy? Terrence Williams. Now, Terrence Williams is a bit of a comedian, and he's a bit of a clown, but
I need everybody in America to wake up and pay attention. Mm-hmm. Wake up, okay? The Washington Post referred to the ISIS leader as a religious scholar. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They referred to the ISIS leader as a religious scholar. They say worse things about the president of the United States of America. They can't say nothing nice about President Trump and all the good things that he is doing, but y'all want to call the ISIS leader a religious scholar? This man murdered thousands and thousands of innocent people. He is a killer, not no religious scholar. He's a killer. Okay?
But he played soccer.
Y'all know what? Y'all are a bunch of ISIS sympathizers. That's what y'all are. Terrence. A bunch of ISIS sympathizers. I need everybody in America to wake up and pay attention. Everybody needs to see this right here. Matter of fact, I think the Washington Post need to be investigated.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But anyway, so there was, let's see what else we got here. All right, so they just flipped it a little bit. Dan Bongino tells Washington Post to get your head out of your asses. Stop treating al-Baghdadi like Mary Poppins. So anyway, in the wake of this, let's see if I can find some obituaries on Twitter. So anyway, there's kind of a pattern though, because here's what they did with the Orlando shooter, right? Troubled, quiet, macho, angry, the volatile life of the Orlando shooter. Really, Washington Post? And then the next one here. Couple seem and the Orlando shooter, of course, whenever it's weird because the pattern happens to be with a certain type of killer. I don't necessarily, this is about Omar Mateen, right? And then you get the one about the ones in couple seem quiet and withdrawn until explosion of violence. The mass shootings in San Bernardino, California on December 2nd, details are starting to emerge about who was involved in the attack. What do you mean, who was involved? They know who was involved. God. But yes, quiet and withdrawn. Oh, and then you have understanding Ramadan, a Muslim month of fasting. Many Muslims around the world. Oh, wait. Here's it. Oh, that's, anyway. Now, I don't care about this because there are peaceful Muslims in the world. So this, I don't care about when they're talking about Ramadan and telling you what it means. Many Muslims around the world are celebrating Ramadan, the Islamic holy month of fasting. For many in the Middle East and in Afghanistan, the tensions of war and military action comes at a time when many Muslims seek spiritual purity. Ramadan is the ninth month of the Islamic lunar calendar. Throughout this month, Muslims fast and concentrate on their faith by spending less time on concerns of their everyday lives. Fasting during Ramadan is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, a time of worship and contemplation. Okay, that's fine. That's just that talks about the religion. But then they get to Abu al-Baghdadi, austere religious scholar at the helm of Islamic State. And just the descriptions they use, I'm like, what are you thinking? Now, they did change the headline pretty quickly, like I said. So here's the original one, the religious scholar. And then they changed it to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, extremist leader of Islamic State, dies at 48. So they got the message very, very quickly. But I thought it was funny because people were coming up with all kinds of all kinds of obituaries for different things. Oh, here we go. Washington Post draws mockery over al-Baghdadi headline. Here's the Mediaite thing here. The Washington Post is facing a great deal of condemnation and ridicule for the headline they briefly went with as they covered the death of ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Who's your daddy? The Post drew a massive outcry on Sunday when it ran the news under the headline, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, who's your daddy, austere religious scholar at the helm of Islamic State, dies at 48. The consensus among critics was that the headline completely failed to convey the fact that al-Baghdadi, who's your daddy, was a terrorist who committed numerous atrocities along with his followers throughout his life. Excuse me. The paper has changed the headline to what I said before, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, who's your daddy, extremist leader of the Islamic State, dies at 48. And Washington Post Vice President Christine Karate Kelly posted this explanation on Twitter. Now, her explanation is a fail, if you ask me. Can you see this on my screen okay? Do I need to change this, flip this out a little bit? Yeah, it's kind of, why is that cut off like that? That's weird. Here, we'll go, let's go web article. No, let's go web article. Sorry, guys, I didn't realize. Oh, it's because it's a web article. It's not Twitter. Duh. Way to go, B-Dog. All right. Regarding our al-Baghdadi obituary, the headline should have never read that way, and we changed it quickly. Now, why do I think this is a poorly written explanation? No. The headline wasn't read that way. The headline was written that way, published that way. That's what the problem is. It's not that they talk about passive as if, well, it shouldn't have read that way. No, you shouldn't have published it that way. We published this BS, and we should have never published it that way. By saying it shouldn't have been read that way, it means something, you read it that way incorrectly. No, we read it just like you wrote it, you dumbass. Anyway, in any event, though, political observers crafted WAPO death notices in order to mock the paper's previous headline by imagining how it might have covered the deaths of the most notorious historical figures in human history. Jeffrey Dahmer, connoisseur of exotic and locally sourced meats, dies at age 34. Joseph Stalin, advocate of a strong working class and population control, dies at 74. Heinrich Himmler, passionate chicken farmer, dies unexpectedly at age 44. Culinary specialist Jeffrey Dahmer killed by fellow tourists at an all-inclusive vacation. Attila the Hun, world traveler and government administrator, dies at 47. Pol Pot, champion of egalitarianism and defender of agricultural superiority, dies at 72. Charles Manson, famous songwriter and meditation leader, dies at 83. Nero, emperor who helped Christians bring light to Rome, dies at 30. Genghis Khan, accomplished horseman and indefatigable traveler, breathes his last. Emperor Palpatine, austere holder of emergency powers and advocate for democracy, died after a fall. So anyway, the hell is that? Okay. So anyway, people had some fun with that headline and what's going on. All right, what else we got going on? I can't stick to this too long because I just can't. I got some notifications. What's this notification here? Hang on a second. Ding, click that bell. What is that? What's going on here? Thank you, G Prime, also for tweeting out the show. I appreciate it. By the way, if you all would be so kind, hit the share arrow while you're thinking about it, or just retweet this. Just tell people we're here. I can't, it helps a lot. I'm just saying, it really does. It helps if you help me out. Help a brother out. All right. He's not dead though. Who's not dead? He's not dead. I'm not sure who's not dead. Geograph, who's not dead? Wait, I'm looking, trying to figure out. I can't find it. Oh, Thanos. Oh, rest in peace, Thanos. If someone write an obituary for Thanos in the chat. That would be. I'll be happy to read that. By the way, super chats, I don't have them by YouTube. Streamlabs link down below. I suppose I said that in my commercial. Let's get back to my bookmarks here. All kinds of stuff, though. All kinds of stuff. Oh, Palpatine. Hello, Jen. Hi, Jen T. Nice to see you. So let's get through some of the headlines, some of the things that I bookmarked over the weekend. All kinds of stuff going on. And I'll just go from the bottom let's scroll down to my last one. Oh, so, fascinating thing happened this weekend. Actually, I think this was on Friday. And, so here's the story. I'm going to get a web article book up here. So President Trump, here, let's go full screen. Sorry, guys. I've got to reset. That's because I forgot I changed some monitors here. So here's the full screen. President Trump celebrated for work on criminal justice reform. Now, this is fascinating. President Trump actually got an award this weekend. On Friday in South Carolina, President Trump was honored for his work on criminal justice reform. The president used the event to celebrate the criminal justice reform legislation he signed last year called the First Step Act. The First Step Act is good because that allows a second step and a third step, and that's okay because we can do there too. President Trump said, okay, whatever that sentence meant. I know what he's trying to say, but it just didn't come out right. He's been extremely vocal. We don't always get coverage, but that hasn't stopped us from taking the lead, Smith said. And that's someone named, who's Smith? No one named Smith. Oh, Jerron Smith helped the president craft the reforms and said the president has led the way. He's been extremely vocal. We don't always get coverage, but that hasn't stopped us from taking the lead, Smith said. The act reduced mandatory minimum sentences and expanded drug treatment programs for prisoners and parolees. But experts agree the act is really just a first step towards what needs to be done. Oh, then it's very appropriately named, right? Mooney said lawmakers are already working on the next step. The legislation called the REAL Act will lift the current federal ban on Pell Grants for current federal convicts, improving their education opportunities. Hey, I'm all for that. That sounds like a good one. Get those. You know what? If you're a convict, it's a good thing to go to school while you're in prison and actually learn something and maybe learn a trade or learn a skill or learn something. So good for them. I think that through maybe some education as well as personal experience from his son-in-law, he has come to see that there is a big return on investing on individuals who are incarcerated. For now, the issue has bipartisan support, with 2020 Democratic presidential candidates expected to introduce their own proposals for criminal justice reform at the same event this weekend. So he gets an award, right? And here's let's see, let me read. Let's play this again.
Programs for prisoners and parolees.
Here we go. Let's play this real quick. Come on. Here, let's fix this. There.
Today, if President Donald J. Trump had not supported and signed the First Step Act.
On Friday in South Carolina, President Trump was honored for his work on criminal justice reform. The president used the event to celebrate the criminal justice reform legislation he signed last year, called the First Step Act.
First step is good because that allows a second step and a third step.
Jerron Smith helped the president craft the reform.
Okay, it's kind of the same thing,
has
but
led the way.
Well, he's been extremely vocal. We don't always get coverage, but that hasn't stopped us from taking the lead.
The act reduced mandatory minimum sentences.
Okay, so it's the same thing as I read in the articles. Okay, so that's the news report. So, okay, so that's a good thing, right? Y'all think that's a good thing that this is something they did, and, you know, us Americans who happen to have darker shades than others probably should be celebrating this, right? And not just that, just anyone who thinks there's some issues with the criminal justice system, right? Should be a great thing, and everyone should be on board. Bipartisan support for the bill. Kushner and was led the way on this, and the president was very supportive, got it pushed through, and signed the bill, right? Gets an award, right? Good news? That should be good news, right? Well, maybe not so much. Here's the problem. So, now here's the thing. Since the president, Donald Trump, has signed the First Step Act into law, 10 states have passed legislation to advance criminal justice reform at the state level. That's good too, right? President Trump leads the way. Well, there's a little problem. News. Kamala Harris says she's pulling out of the bipartisan 2019 Second Step Presidential Justice Forum after President Trump was given an award. Oh, somebody's a little salty about President Trump getting an award. Here's her statement. Listen to this. As Trump is awarded, despite decades of shameful actions on justice issues. Now remember, this is Kamala Harris. Of all people, Kamala Harris has the nerve to say this. Decades of shameful actions on justice issues, and students are excluded from participating because it wasn't it was on that campus, but it wasn't a student event. This was from another organization, and they only had so much room for some students, but whatever. And students are excluded from participating. Kamala Harris pulls out of 2019 Second Step Presidential Justice Forum. Harris will instead discuss criminal justice reform at open event with students and the broader community in Columbia. Tomorrow, October 26th, Senator Kamala Harris will join students and the broader Columbus community to discuss criminal justice reform instead of participating in the 2019 Second Step Presidential Justice Forum at Benedict College. Now, she attended an HBCU, which is irrelevant. If you ask some people who are ADOS, American descendants of slaves, they not fans of Kamala Harris anyway. But as the only candidate who attended an HBCU, which is a historically black college and university, I know the importance that these spaces hold for young black Americans, said Harris. Today, when it became clear Donald Trump would receive an award after decades of celebrating mass incarceration, false, pushing for the death penalty for innocent black Americans. She's talking about the Central Park Five. Now, don't get me started on that. Rolling back police accountability measures. What? Where? When? How did he do that? Not during his presidency. She's making that shit up. And racist behavior that puts people's lives at risk. And then learned all but 10 Benedict students are excluded from participating. I cannot in good faith be complicit in papering over his record. Instead, I'll host students from all campuses, as well as the broader Columbia community, to come discuss the critical issue that I've been working for. Okay, look. Senator Harris, I'm sure that you can walk and chew gum at the same time. And the award was specifically for his work and support of criminal justice reform, which is a bill that you voted for. Now, give the man some. So let's say someone in the past did something shitty, right? In the way back when, right? But then they do something really, really good. Is it okay to give someone credit for that really, really good thing? I would say yes. Okay? And again, you're thinking about the opinions in the past because, you know, and oh, by the way, this is Kamala Harris, okay? Kamala Harris, who when she was the, the state attorney general for the state of California, has been accused of keeping people in prison longer than they wouldn't necessarily need to be, wouldn't let them go out on parole because, well, the state needed some people to do some work, right? She kind of kept people in longer than they needed to be, and she's got her own really shitty history on criminal justice, right? And I don't know how you blaming Trump for things in the criminal justice. Here she is again. I won't be complicit in paper over Trump's record. Get the woman. Now, and then of course Joy Reid from MSNBC, you know, misery, nobody really cares. Or Ms. Nobody Cares Network. Benedict College University did not honor Trump. This bipartisan forum on criminal justice honored him. Okay. This bipartisan forum on criminal no one said the college honored him. It said very clearly the 2020 bipartisan forum on criminal justice gave him the award. No, it just happened to be they held it at the university. Okay, no one said the honor did. So the university itself did not honor him. Students were sequestered in their dormitories. Only 10 were invited, and only 7 showed up. So it was an event on the campus using a space at the campus for other people that was filling up the auditorium, and they invited some of the students. It wasn't an open forum. It was they rented out a place. This is great. This is fucking great. As an African American, I feel very unsafe. She's a freshman at Benedict College and said students were asked not to leave their dorm rooms between 1 and 4 p.m. Okay, I don't know how presidential security works in a place like a small college. But what the fuck did you feel unsafe for? Unsafe why? Unsafe is a very specific term. What was going to happen? What was going to happen to you? Anybody? Oh, and here she goes again. My whole life I've fought for justice and for the people, except for those people you kept in prison longer than they need to be in prison, right, Kamala Harris? Or the people who you tried to not allow them to use evidence that might have gotten them off. Kamala Harris's history as the Attorney General of California is a trip. I'm sorry. Kamala Harris again. My whole life I've fought for justice and for the people, something you know nothing about. The only part of criminal justice you can claim credit for is the criminal part. Oh, isn't that? Ooh, that's. She got the tea. Shut the fuck up. Holy shit. Anyway, there ended up being a change because these people got all bent out of shape because Donald Trump was getting awarded. Big change at Presidential Criminal Justice Forum at Columbia's Benedict College. Benedict has taken control of the forum, hosting top 2020 Democrats after event organizer 2020 Bipartisan Justice Center brought Donald Trump to the historic black campus. I mean, this is... Give the man some credit. Holy shit. Brought Donald Trump to the historically back people. Okay, this is Twitter, so I make tons of Twitter mistakes, so I get it. I'm not going to worry. This is not an editable mistake, so I'm not going to give this. I know what he meant. Historically black campus Friday. This change comes after Kamala Harris pulled out when Trump received the same award from the Bipartisan Center that the California senator received in 2017. So, she got this award in 2017 despite her record as the California Attorney General. Yeah. Boy, if I knew she got that award 2 years ago, I'd have pulled out of that event too. Harris is now back. Columbia Mayor Steve Benjamin says the event is now called the Collegiate Bipartisan Presidential Forum at Benedict College. Unlike the president's speech Friday, more students are allowed to come see Democratic candidates, including Biden, Warren, Sanders, Buttigieg, Booker, Klobuchar, Castro, and Gabbard. So it went from a forum on criminal justice reform to a Democratic campaign stop. That's what it turned into. Okay. Did the ticket charge? I believe $35 to $40 per candidate form change as well. What is a back? Okay, it's a typo. Yeah, we know that. Anyway, so what if Trump's audience was hand selected? Okay, whatever. It's their forum, and they paid for the space. Whatever. And you know what? I don't like everything the president does, but he should get credit for this criminal justice reform because he's the one and his family pushed it. So let's see. There was a candidate forum scheduled today for Benedict College, sponsored by 2020 Bipartisan Justice Center. That group gave Trump an award. Kamala Harris pulled out in protest. New event scheduled. 2020 group no longer hosting. So did they kick out the 2020 group for giving him an award? Because these people, because these are the people that worked with the president to get this legislation passed. You're right. Awards don't really mean much these days. Too often they're given away too easily. Sure, fine. But was the president instrumental in getting the legislation passed? Absolutely. Now, some people just don't want to admit it. How you doing, Geodes, by the way? Awards are, if they're the 2020 Bipartisan Justice Center, and they decide, you know what, who should we give an award to this year? Who's promoted the reform of the criminal justice system, and the president of the United States just happened to be someone who forwarded the most significant legislation on criminal justice reform that particular year, then it's probably appropriate that they give the award to him. Whether you like it or not, whether you think he's a dumbass or a saint, it don't matter. That particular issue, he was the lead person on the most significant criminal justice reform done in the United States in 20 years. And he's signed it. Got it through Congress, got it through the Senate, signed it. Okay. Award earned. Is that me? Oh, am I glitching? Am I going? Okay. I might be back. Okay. Oh, and then there's this. So the forum the next day or whatever, when Joe Biden was on the stage, this girl asked this question. This is fascinating. Here's the question. Listen to this. Oh, you can't really hear it, can you? Turn that up. That's up all the way. Turn that up a little bit. Let's try this again. Maybe you can hear it or not. Here it is.
If I were your daughter, what advice would you give me the next time I get stopped by the police?
Okay, if you can't hear that, she's saying, she was talking about something, teens being pulled over, blah, blah, blah. If I was your daughter and I was pulled over by the police, what would your advice be? So Biden says, if you were my daughter, you'd be a Caucasian girl and you wouldn't be pulled over. That's what's
there is institutional racism that still exists. And what it should require is
oh my God. You know that dude, it's an internet meme. The guy that goes, "You are so dumb." Oh my God. You are so dumb, Joe. You know, I live in the suburbs of the Twin Cities. The vast majority of the people who live around me are white people. And when I drive down the street and I see the police pulling someone over, because here's the other thing. I also live near a high school. And when I'm driving around, my area near this high school, and I see people pulled over, usually it's quite often Caucasian girls who are pulled over. And I'm sure they get tickets and all that stuff, whatnot. So, if you wouldn't be pulled over if you're a Caucasian girl. Yeah, you would. And guess what? Here's the thing. I would have said, you know what my advice is to you? Be polite, do what the officer says, and be on your way when they're done. Don't give people attitude. Just say, you know what? If he asks you for your license, here's your license. If he asks for your insurance, here's my insurance. If you ask for registration, here's my registration. Was I speeding? Okay, I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have been speeding. That's okay. And be on your damn way. Do you know how many damn traffic stops there are around this country where there's nothing going on with them, just other than maybe you might have a headlight out, you might have people going speeding too fast, you might have a tail light out. Hey, most of the time the officer's going to say, okay, get it fixed. And that's I've been black all my life. It says it right on my driver's license, and I haven't gotten it. Well, I've been pulled over. I get pulled over every once in a while. Well, it's been a long time. I had a headlight. I was driving. A black man driving around in my Lexus sports car that I used to have. I got pulled over by the police. And that damn cop, that racist cop, came up and said, hey, sir, the reason I'm pulling you over today is because you have a headlight out. I said, do I? Oh, I didn't notice. And you know what he said to me? This racist white cop in my suburb, in a lily white suburb in around the Twin Cities here. He asked for my license and insurance. I'm like, you're asking for my license and insurance for? I didn't say this, but I thought to myself, you want my license and my insurance because I have a headlight out? Okay, here you go. And he went back and he checked. He came back. He said, oh, okay, sir. Thank you. Hey, you might just get that fixed as soon as you can. And he said, be on your way. Now, is that everyone's experience? I don't know. Because I don't know if everyone's as polite as I am when I talk to police officers. Or do I get an attitude? Or am I sounding mad? Or if there's a robbery suspect who looks like me in the neighborhood. But you couldn't see because my windows were tinted, which I'm surprised I didn't get a ticket for my tinted windows because they're probably the tint on. Well, I don't have that car anymore, but the tint on those windows was probably a little darker than it was supposed to be. But of course, I had my window down, so maybe he didn't notice. But I digress. My advice to you, young lady, is to be polite. Give them have your license and your insurance ready before he comes to the car, and don't argue. And, the same thing that anyone should do. There's nothing different that you should do. Any person who gets pulled over with the police should be like that. Duh. So anyway, this got to be, oh my God, it just turned into a shit show. Kamala Harris will now skip tomorrow's second step presidential forum. Harris is protesting that President Trump was given an award today for his criminal justice efforts. You're protesting. Oh my God. Yeah, this is just another. Not ironically, at least she made a positive difference in so many lives of people who would have otherwise spent their life in a cycle of incarceration. Oh my God, she did not. She was the attorney general who has a history of not allowing people out of fighting against people getting out of jail for reasons. We might have to get into this. We might have to get into her history because she's Oh, this is funny. Let me get back. Oh, I'm back in my bookmarks now. I did a bunch of those bookmarks. Here's a good one. Here's a good one. We're back into the bookmarks, not just that. And I thought this was hilarious. Tonight's open at the Great Gutfield Show. This was funny. Here, let's start from the beginning. Oh, it's time for Twitter trends, too. Well, we'll get to that in a second.
President Trump, perhaps inspired by Goebbels and the propagandists of the Third Reich.
Did I hear you correctly say that perhaps he was influenced by Goebbels and the Third Reich?
Oh, Reverend Al. Reverend Al. Here we go again. Listen again.
President Trump, perhaps inspired by Goebbels and the propagandists of the Third Reich.
You know, it's amazing, too. This guy's off the rails, but that's not the funny part of this. Listen to Al Sharpton. Listen to Al Sharpton.
Did I hear you correctly say that perhaps he was influenced by Goebbels and the Third Reich?
Goebbels and the Third Reich.
In terms of telling...
Look at Beto trying not to laugh. Beto's trying not to laugh.
I want to make sure that's what I heard you say.
That's right.
Who the hell is Gurgle?
All right, that was funny. Let's see, ISIS leader, yeah. Oh, here's a good one. Florida man. Well, we've got Florida woman. Yes, you heard me right. Florida woman. Only in Florida. Florida transgender woman accused of setting fire to Taco Bell and a church. And it wasn't after she ate the Taco Bell. But listen to this one. A Florida woman allegedly walked into a Taco Bell, doused someone in gasoline, and set the person on fire. Mia Williams, seen sporting a beard in her mugshot, was born a man but identifies as a woman, according to the Miami Herald. Police say the 32-year-old may have gone on a spree of arson that they say began at Taco Bell in Tallahassee. Williams allegedly entered the fast food store, poured gasoline on a customer, and set the customer ablaze. The victim was airlifted to the hospital with serious injuries. After the initial incident, authorities say they began getting a number of calls for fires. Around 5 a.m. on Thursday, reports came that a car was on fire. On the same street, firefighters responded to another car fire and a church that was completely engulfed in flames. 2 more blazes were reported soon after. Police found Williams on a bike at 6:40 a.m. and after attempting to stop her, unsuccessfully deployed a taser twice. An officer managed to pin the front tire of Williams' bike to a fence. The officer said that Williams leapt on top of the car and pulled out a pair of orange scissors, raising them up as if to potentially stab me. This is Mia Williams. Williams was only arrested in relation to the Taco Bell fire, as police are still investigating the others. Williams was charged with resisting an officer with violence, premeditated homicide, and aggravated assault on an officer. And this is a picture of surveillance footage of Miss Williams. Okay, I wonder if they're going to put Miss Williams in a women's prison. Yes, Michael. Yes, Michael. It's going to be. And that's why I bookmarked it. Florida woman allegedly walked into Taco Bell, doused someone in gasoline, and set the person. So I'm just gonna venture to guess that Miss Williams may have some mental instability issues. Just saying. Moving on, I've got a couple more bookmarks. Then we'll get into trends. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos and the Department of Education were held in civil contempt by a federal judge on Thursday in order to pay damages to student borrowers who took out loans to attend a now defunct for-profit college. This is just CNN dunking on the Secretary of Education, which is fine. That's their prerogative because they are the Communist News Network. But hey, so here's the article. what happened there. Of course, the damn ads are killing me on this channel. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos and the Department of Education were held in civil contempt by a federal judge on Thursday in order to pay damages to student borrowers who took out loans to attend and out of
Most people think of Verizon as a reliable phone company.
For-profit college, the judge had previously ordered the Department of Education to stop collecting on the loans, but last month the department admitted that more than 16,000 borrowers were incorrectly informed that they owed a payment on their debt last month on their debt after the court order. About 1,800 had their wages garnished and more than 800 were mistakenly subject to adverse credit reporting. U.S. Magistrate Judge Sally Kim wrote in her order that there's no question that DeVos personally, now I love how they write that she personally violated the order. You know, it's because, of course, the Department of Education had some fuck up in the bureaucratic end of their, because there's only 7 people in the Department of Education. So you know that DeVos personally went out and made these people come and do their loan payments, right? No, there's no question that DeVos and the department violated the preliminary injunction. That's how CNN wrote this article. That's because you know what? Orange man bad. Also, no question that the defendants violations harmed individual borrowers. The evidence shows only minimal efforts to comply with the preliminary injunction, she wrote. For now, Kim ordered DeVos and the Education Department to pay just $100,000 in damages, but the court order is a setback for DeVos in her effort to undo Obama-era rules on student loan debt. Under DeVos, the Department of Education has scrapped a rule that was intended to protect students from for-profit colleges. Why? Protect them from for-profit colleges? Is the college... and is rewriting a rule about how defrauded... Now, if they're defrauding students, then, right, you protect them from fraud. But are all for-profit colleges bad? I know lots of people, not lots, I know people who've graduated from for-profit colleges for certain DeVos, whatever. DeVos, Betsy DeVos, thank you. That have very specialized things. For example, dental assistants, things like that. They go to some of these little Rasmussen or crap like that. They're crappy little colleges, but they're affordable. And if you don't want them to, if you don't want them to go to those colleges, just don't allow the student loans. But anyway, DeVos and the department has also been sued over the high rejection rate in a debt forgiveness program for public sector workers. Well, do they qualify for the debt forgiveness program or not? I mean, it's probably I don't know, but in a tweet, the Department of Education has said it was disappointed in the court's ruling, but acknowledged that its loan servicers made unacceptable mistakes. Yeah, loan servicers, as in not... So the the Department of Education doesn't service the loans, right? There are loan servicers that do these things. So, good God. Although these actions were not done with ill intent, students and parents were affected, and we take full responsibility for that, said Mark Brown, the chief operating officer of the department's Office of Federal Student Aid, in a video included in the tweet. He said that 99% of those who made payments when they didn't need to or had their wages garnished have been refunded, and that the remaining will be refunded by the end of the week. But I love how CNN writes the article. Betsy DeVos held in contempt. That's kind of a what's it called, a push article, whatever. It's an agenda article. I just found it funny. After his death, this is funny. After his death, el-Baghdadi, who's your daddy, is met by George Washington, who beats the hell out of him. Then Thomas Jefferson does the same. And James Madison takes a turn, Thomas Paine, and a long line of others. Turns out, jihadi martyrs are actually met not by innocent women, but 72 Virginians. Moving on. Hey, so this, we were talking about this biologically male NCAA runner was named the conference female athlete of the week. This is Big Sky Conference named University of Montana runner June Eastwood, a biological male who identifies as a transgender woman, the cross-country female athlete of the week. June Eastwood finished second in a field of 204 runners at the Santa Clara Bronco Invitational, helping Montana place seventh as a team. The conference noted in its announcement Tuesday, Eastwood previously competed on the University of Montana's men's cross-country team. Oh, well, good for June. I don't want to disparage this person as a person. I just think this is another case of where we're starting to allow male athletes, physiological males, competing against physiological women. And, now we're getting more, the research is so limited, but the research seems that I've seen, there's some saying that, well, yes, hormone treatment does reduce muscle size and some performance to an extent. Also, it doesn't reduce strength. And so post-pubescent males who go on hormone treatments don't lose the advantages of going through puberty as a male. Lung capacity, bone density, although it does diminish bone density slightly, not to the extent of a physiological female. There's all kinds. This is just one of those things I think is that people are losing their damn minds. And the fact, so this young physiological male who identifies as a woman, now dominating cross country out in Montana. You had this Cece Telfer. They mentioned Cece Telfer in this article, who won the NCAA Division II National Championship in her events when she was ranked like 400. Oh, she's also someone who went to school as a male, transitioned, took a year off of track, came back a year later and became an NCAA champion after being ranked like 480th in the nation in her events. Became a champion after transitioning. So it's you know what, it's going to become, as this becomes more common and the research becomes more diligent, I got a feeling that they're going to realize that this is probably not the way to do it. They're going to have to find a way to for these people to compete in sports that do not take away from what's my word? Physiological females. There's a reason there's a physiological female category in sports, because there is absolutely advantages, regardless of the transition, that physiological males have over physiological females. And you know what? The problem is too, is you haven't had, like the cyclist too, who just broke a world record in the 30 to 35 year division. It's the reason we have a separate category for physiological females diminishes when you allow physiological males to compete. And it's hard to convince me otherwise. Speaking of which, Julie and Nate Sharp are raising their toddler twins using pronouns they, them, and their to shield them from gender stereotypes. This is a parenting technique called babies. This is a parenting technique for morons. Okay, I shouldn't be that way, but I'm going to be that way today just because I just have no more patience for it. And then Donald Trump thanks Martha Dawes and Terry Moran for a job well done. I'm not going to play this, but they actually reported on this death of Abu al-Baghdadi, who's your daddy. They actually reported on it straight, not giving praise, not diminishing the accomplishment. Man, Mr. Vladimir says, why don't we just have transgender league and just a bunch of trans women and men playing against each other. Won't that be fair? I don't know. I don't know what you do, man. Let them compete in it. I don't know. The whole thing makes my head hurt because I don't have a solution. I wish I did. I wish I had the perfect solution. Because here's the problem. Doing that, are there enough people to compete? Now, there are the world lesbian games or there's the world gay games or something like that. Maybe they can have the world transgender games. And then you have fair competition. As a coach, I would be very annoyed and especially in some states, because some states you don't even have to go on hormone treatment to compete. All you have to do is say that this is my gender. I want to compete in this category. So, for example, the two transgender girls in Connecticut competed in track before they hadn't taken any hormones yet. And I think later on they went on hormone treatment, but again, they still had the advantages, and they dominated track in Connecticut. It's not an easy problem for them. It's easy in my mind, but you know what? God, it just drives me nuts. Okay, real quick, here we go. Here's Twitter trends for the day. Trending number 1, Monday motivation, because it's Monday, and you always get something on Monday that has that. Let's see. BBC News Africa has some Monday motivation. What has helped me live long is eating my native food and believing in Jesus. At 104 years old, Nigerian Jessie Onwigwe isn't thinking about stopping working. She says she feeds her families from the proceeds of her farms. That's some serious. So, man, if you ever say you can't do something, this woman's 104 years old, and she's getting it done. Still feeding her family from her own farm. So that's the motivation. All right, moving on. Number 2, Getty Fire out in Getty, California. This is not good if you're out in California. Driver on Interstate 405 captured the terrifying footage of the aggressive Getty Fire. The Getty Center tweeted their building was safe, but many nearby residents have been forced to evacuate. That's pretty devastating out there. If you're in California, be safe. It's not anywhere near where my sister lives, so she's good, but still. Here, LA Times is dropping paywall for Getty Fire coverage. That's interesting, because the LA Times usually is behind a paywall. There's a overhead view. Pretty devastating fire going on. So a lot of people talking about that day. I'm sure people will continue. Number 3, Lock Him Up is trending. Oh, yeah. So President Trump went to the Nationals Astro game last night, and like every president who goes to a baseball game, President Trump got booed because I can tell you, I've been through a lot of baseball games and a lot of presidents at baseball games, and every president gets booed for a little bit. Now, some get booed more than others. Whatever. But, of course, with this particular president, every news outlet decided to report it because it's this president. President Trump greeted with lock him up chants at the World Series. Well, the lock him up chants you could barely hear, except there's one video where someone in a section way up in the hinterlands where about 100 people were chanting it. But here is President Trump getting booed at the World Series last night.
Here joined by the President and First Lady of the United States.
And, okay, so, yippee. What? Oh, wow. I'm interesting. Okay, that's why they're trending. Okay, so that's that. So, and everyone decided they lock, and then some people were saying lock him up. I don't see the lock him up one, though. There is a lock him up. Oh, here it is. Let's see what this one. Let's see if you can hear better here. Now notice. So this is where they said, "Oh, you got to lock him up." Cheers. Does that sound like the whole stadium is saying, or just that section is saying it? To me, it sounds like that section is saying, and fine. This is Washington, D.C., one of many liberal cities in America, so I'm not shocked that people are yelling lock him up at a Nats game at the World Series because it's Washington, D.C., the Democratic-dominated city outside of the government there, the United States government there. The city itself, it's full of, it's full of Democrats, okay? It's shocker. But I'll remind you that if you go look up on YouTube, Obama booed at baseball game. He was booed at the All-Star game. He was booed the day he went out, when he went out the pitch. He just booed when he threw out the first pitch at a Nationals game. President Bush was booed. Now, the one time President Bush wasn't booed, he was booed at the first time he did a first pitch at the Nationals game. But after 9/11, at the Yankees game at the World Series, he was cheered. Okay? But and I know Bill Clinton was booed at baseball games. I know George H.W. Bush was booed at baseball games. Every president who goes to a baseball game, it's almost a national tradition to boo the president at your baseball game. Okay? President Obama was booed at a basketball game. Every president gets booed at games because that's kind of the, sports fans are like, we don't want the president here anyway. Whatever. Who gives a shit? Oh, yeah, someone flashed behind some plane. I didn't see it, but I heard about it. Shiograph. So anyway, whatever. Nothing new. But I think, okay, so, all right, so there's Monday Morning is number 4. Micah Brzezinski is trending number 5 because... And Joe is also trending, Joe Scarborough, the Morning Joe crew, because people are mad that she actually defended Donald Trump. Let's go back to the other one. Let's go back to lock him up. Because here's what they said on Morning Joe. We are Americans and we do not do that. We do not want the world hearing us chant lock him up to this president or any president. Okay. Now I'm shocked that she actually said that, but here it is.
But again, I speak to the lock him up chants.
Yeah.
It's un-American. It started with Donald Trump. In fact, he's made it a centerpiece of his campaign rallies.
We find it sickening when it happens at his rallies. I find it kind of sickening to watch people leering at the president.
We are Americans, and we do not do that. We do not want the world hearing us chant, lock him up to this president or to any president. That's what I'm saying. Let's hope as we move forward, maybe this is one less fascist tactic he and his supporters use.
Let me I'm taking my deep breath. There's that word again, fascist. How is it fascist? Good God. Stop using a word that you don't understand what it means.
During chants that you were going to actually imprison your political opponent.
Yeah,
so
no. It's not about imprisoning your political opponents. It's about imprisoning criminals. But I digress, there's some people are above the law. And you know what? If they find a law that President Trump actually broke, I'm fine if he is held accountable to it. But most of the ones that they've mentioned, so some of it, take the campaign finance ones so far. President Obama's campaign had the biggest fine in history, campaign finance violation in history. That the biggest fine ever paid for a campaign finance violation. And nobody was saying lock him up, right? Because that's the penalty for a campaign finance violation. And maybe they should do something else. I don't know. But they didn't, because that's not the law. And that's right now, even if their dubious thing, even the thing in Ukraine, you know what? If there's a law they broke, read the statute, right? Read us the statute. Now, let's compare those, though, to the actual statute for the handling of classified information. There are laws in the books that do require prison time and some hefty fines that, you know what, if we're going to prosecute him and you're found guilty of, you'd be in jail just like Edward Snowden, or, well, Edward Snowden would have been, and Chelsea Manning or Bradley Manning or whatever the hell that person's name is. And the dude, Jeffrey Sterling, he went to prison for mishandling classified information. And boy, oh boy, there's a whole bunch of them. So there might be a remedy of lock them up if they broke those laws. But even then, maybe they should stop saying it at Trump rallies. I don't know, but good God. So anyway, yes. Micah Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough are getting dragged. That's why Micah's trending, and that's why Joe Scarborough's trending. Oh, Barron's trending. Oh, geez. Let's see what they're saying about Barron. Are they being nice to Barron? Maybe Trump didn't take Barron to the game because it's not good for him. Maybe Barron doesn't like crowds. Maybe Trump knows people will be booing him and doesn't want to expose his kid to that. Maybe he's protecting him. Going after Trump because Barron wasn't there is gross. I agree. If you're curious why the left lost so badly in 2000, look for no further than the Barron trip. What are they asking? They choose to give Barron a private life, and that's bad. Truth is, if Barron was in the public eye, Trump would be accused of using his son for his own benefit. Yeah, I've never seen a president's kid use as a weapon the way Barron Trump is. There's no depth these Democrats will not stoop to. People have gone after presidents' kids before. That Chelsea Clinton was gone after, and the Obama's kids have been gone after, and the Bush twins were gone after. Even though we say we're not supposed to, people who do it, so I understand it. A father not taking his son to a baseball game, let alone a World Series game, is perhaps the worst indictment of a family man I've ever heard. Oh, fuck off. I have a feeling Trump could have gotten Barron a ticket if he got tickets for... What if Barron doesn't like baseball? Is that a possibility? Anybody? Maybe Barron doesn't like... Oh, see, that's what this person said. Maybe Barron doesn't like baseball or hearing crowds shout at his dad. I don't know. There's lots of things to criticize Trump for, but this may not be one of them. Leftists. Lock him up. Lock him up. Boo. Yeah. Also leftists. Why didn't you bring your son Barron to a baseball game in the middle of the swamp? It would have been a nice experience. Oh, it's a shame Barron wasn't there because I would have liked to see this guy. Wow, I can't believe the president brought his child to see him get booed. Oh, yeah, this guy. The same guy, the father not taking his son to a baseball game. Kiss my big fat butt. All right, that's why Barron's trending. So everything about this baseball game, more than Baghdadi, people are talking about a baseball game. Nate Silver's trending. Why? Oh, because he's stupid. I don't know. Good to know who Nate Silver really is. Here's it is. It's really amazing how many libs can't even permit Trump to have one good day. Nobody will remember this stuff by Tuesday after U.S. forces kill perhaps the world's most wanted terrorist. Damn right, Nate. Okay, you deserve... Yeah, these... And boy, some of you just can't do it, can you? You can't give him credit for anything because Orange Man is bad. Oh my God, it's easy to criticize Nate Silver for having alt-right leanings. Get the fuck out of here, Dan. But people don't give him enough credit for also being incredibly bad at every part of his job. Yes, you are just, oh my God. Can't we let up on Hitler for just one day? It's the man's birthday. Nate Silver, 19... Holy shit. You know what would be really ironic? If Trump really did become Hitler and start locking people up and just shooting people in the heads. But hey, I wonder, I'm a black man. Would I end up in a concentration camp? I don't know. My God. I thought a lot of people were exaggerating when they were tweeting about major media pundits defending Trump from being booed, but actually it's so much worse. How is it worse? How is it worse, ho? Ho, you... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You're canceled, Nate Silver. Nate Silver, you're a lefty, but you are canceled, bitch. Moving on. Monster's trending. Why? Joe Scarborough. Trump's al-Baghdadi announcement sounded like Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi torturing people. Oh, my God. Okay, monsters trending just because... Okay, everyone's saying monsters everywhere here with different reasons. Never mind. Let's move on. What else? Kenyon Drake. Lions miss out on trade for Kenyon Drake. Okay, whatever. Arizona's acquired the former Dolphins back. Good for him. Nutting. Nutting is trending. Yes! Everybody loves nutting. Actually, it's somebody named Bob Nutting. 1% of tweets. Why nutting is actually trending. 99% of tweets. People joking about nutting trending because we never fully grew up. Yes! Philip DeFranco, you are correct, sir! When I saw nutting trending on Twitter, what is this guy?
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
I don't even care why nutting's trending now. I don't even know. Kudos to Bob Nutting. The Pirates need to clean house, and they have. Kudos to Bob Nutting for doing what needed to be done. Something had to have to do with the Pittsburgh Pirates and Bob Nutting, but you know, that might hit number one today. Okay, moving on. I don't want to talk about nutting anymore. Santana's trending because some dude put something about shout out to YG and Tiger for putting this dude Santana on. Yeah, and you know, Santana's is clearly Santana putting them on. Don't disrespect a legend like that. Yeah, I don't know if whatever this WSHH, if they were just kind of joking. But a lot of people out here complaining that they're disrespecting Carlos Santana, who is a music legend. Okay. And I think everyone knows that. So everyone's it's Black Twitter saying, hey, give some respect to Carlos Santana. Libs is trending because of Nate Silver, because he used the word libs. It's funny to see people who spent 4 years laughing at how Trump owns the libs get incredulous when those libs aren't super fond of him. He's a polarizing figure. I figured you'd be thrilled that he gets booed in liberal settings. No, why? And it's funny because these are liberals that are saying it, that, you know what, there's a point where you go, yeah, maybe lock him up at a fucking World Series game, maybe a little classless, but you know what? Like I said, there is a rich tradition of presidents of the United States getting booed at baseball games. It's nothing new. It's nothing unique. The only thing unique about it this time is that every major headline and every major newspaper is tweeting it, but we didn't have Twitter before. So, you know, although Obama getting booed, I mean, they wouldn't. None of these news outlets were going to say it, but it was all over Twitter when Obama got booed. It was all over Twitter when George Bush got booed. Whatever. It's a tradition. So whatever. I don't care. Jay Lethal, whoever that is something. Jay Lethal, when he woke up this morning, let's see. I don't know. He deleted the tweet about Jay Lethal. Good thing I didn't. Road to allowed one African American to be the top guy, while guys like Cedric Alexander, Malcolm Valley, and myself had to chase this visible carrot stick on a stick. Name another African American who has reached great heights other than this Uncle Tom. What? Who the hell? What is this? I don't even know what this is. Is this some wrestling league or something? Jay Lethal caught a damn straight. What? Who is Jay Lethal? Okay, I got him. Just whoever, I don't know. He's getting some heat, whoever he is. Neil Huntington is no longer Pittsburgh Pirates general manager. Yeah, that has something to do with nutting. Nutting's going to be number 1. And Sergino Dest rounds it out. And is this something I give a shit about? Yes. After featuring for the U.S. youth national team at U17. All right, whatever. This dude, Sergino Dest, will continue in our colors with the U.S. men's national team. So this young soccer player, 18-year-old Sergino Dest, commits to the United States national team, spurning his home nation, the Netherlands. Oh, he's from the Netherlands, but he's going to play for the U.S. national team. Okay, good for that kid. All right, it's time to go, people. Thanks so much for being here. I am just filled with heart of joy, whatever that means. And I'm so glad that you joined me today on the Morning Night Live. We're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. GMT for another week or so when we start changing those clocks back. But whatever. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for being here. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I got to go because that's not my tagline. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Have a great day. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.